question why people say, go to therapy. Talk to somebody. Talk about your problems. Today, we're going to talk about why therapy is important, why you should go to therapy, and how it can help you. Hey guys, it's Shay. Welcome to my channel, It's Shay's Life, a lifestyle channel that consists of vlogs, makeup tutorials, fashion hauls, relationship tips and advice, and all showing life after a toxic relationship. If you've been in a toxic or an abusive relationship and now stepping onto the other side and want to know what life is like and how to move forward, stay tuned. Today, I want to talk about why therapy works and how it can help you. I know in past videos, I've talked about going to therapy, speaking with a counselor, speaking with a minister, and stuff like that. And I just want to share some insight, even from me, because I have gone to therapy, and how it's even helped me, and what I think it can do for you. So, I know there's a lot of stigma around going to therapy, speaking with somebody, talking about your problems, laying on the couch, all this kind of stuff. Therapy in and of itself is not like that. You're actually going to counseling, going to therapy, you're usually speaking with like a social worker or a mental health counselor. And I know even mental health is like a stigma and all on its own, but we all have mental health. We all have to take care of our mental health. And we all can either have healthy mental health or unhealthy mental health. So don't allow the term mental health turn you away, because we all deal with it, and it's whether it's healthy or not healthy is where the problem lies, I guess, if you want to say it that way. So being able to go talk to somebody about situations, about anything, people go talk to counselors because they're dealing with miscarriages, or they're having a hard time getting pregnant and it's been a long journey and they need to talk about that. People go to counseling because they just lost a loved one suddenly, or they lost a loved one in the war. People go to counseling because they were in toxic and abusive relationships and they need to talk about what they experienced and try to break this pattern of getting into more abusive relationships. So going to counseling covers a lot of things. Whether you just had a baby and you're going through postpartum depression, I mean, you go to counseling for anything. And so I think, first of all, breaking down that stigma of, therapy and going to counseling is very important. And then why it can help you. So I think a long time ago, therapy and going to counseling was only reserved for those in mental health institutions, those who were wearing straitjackets. And it became so stigmatized that people would not deal with what they were going through because they didn't want to be labeled as crazy. And let me tell you, everybody got a little bit of crazy in them. But it's very important to not focus on what other people may say when they find out. I mean, how are they gonna find out unless you're telling people, right? At the end of the day, we need to be mindful and careful about what we need and what's gonna help us at the end of the day. And so going to therapy and going to sit down with somebody, especially somebody that you don't know, which is very, very important, because I know a lot of people, and I've had a lot of clients who say, well, I have my friend, or I talk to my mom, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I have stated in a previous video, I think in the video I was talking about 6 steps to overcome singleness during the holidays, which I'll link up here. But in that video, I talked about how I talked to my mom and talked to my friend after going through and coming on the other side of a toxic relationship, but I also had a counselor. And it's very nice and it's very important to talk to somebody who does not know you from anywhere. They don't know your situation. They don't know what type of person you were dating. They're only going based off of what you said. My mom and my friend, they knew my ex. They knew what type of person he was. And not saying that they were all like, oh yeah, this was wrong, or oh yeah, I want to be on your side, and oh yeah, that. Like my mom and my friend were not like that at all. They pointed out things that I did wrong, and I even pointed out things that I did wrong. Being able to have someone who may be more well versed in these types of situations, more versed in what you may be going through and how these things may affect you and how you can be suffering from depression or anxiety or PTSD because of what you went through. They know how to make sure to help you go through these things because they have been trained to do that. They know more about it than your mom, than your best friend, than your sister. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not saying don't talk to these other people, but go to somebody who's actually trained and can help you overcome and be able to guide you through what you're feeling, what you experience. Because sometimes we don't even know how to put into words what we just experienced. And sometimes the counselors and the therapists, they actually can help us formulate those words. So like I said, I've been in therapy. It's something that I actually want to get back into. Back in 2015, I saw my first therapist, and I was actually starting to talk about a relationship that I was involved in about 10 years ago and how it was still affecting me to this day. And little did I know, like, I was suppressing all those feelings and not dealing with it, which caused me to get into another toxic relationship because I never fully dealt with the problem and the root of why I got into the first toxic relationship in the first place. The second one was after I broke up with my ex last year. I was going to therapy and I did not like my therapist. It's okay to not like your therapist. So I stopped going because I felt like I wasn't getting any help. And so there's nothing wrong with finding someone who you feel gets you, who you feel is there to listen to you and understand. Through going to therapy, through getting back into my word and my relationship with God, I have really started and I've really been able to go through this healing journey, and I can see growth, which is so exciting for me. Because I know that when I get into another relationship, I'm going to be ready and I'm not going to be confused by a counterfeit, because I've actually dealt with and I've actually processed what has caused me to go through the cycle of toxic relationships, what has caused me to stay in relationships so longer than I need to. And that's what therapy does for you. And that's why I think it will work for you. Because you just got out, or you may have gotten out 6 months, a year ago, and you feel like you are still dealing with the toxic relationships and you're trying to figure out why. Why is this going on? How do I stop this? Go see a therapist. Go talk about the first time that you experienced rejection. Go talk about the first time that you were longing to be accepted and you went running into a man's arms, longing for that acceptance. And when we really start dealing with the core and root of what has happened in our life, we can really understand why we keep getting these toxic relationships and how to break that cycle. So I really think that going to therapy, it will really help, because it's helped me immensely. And like I said, it's something I want to get back into. Like, I really want to seek a therapist so I can make sure that I'm on the right track and I will not be blinded when the time comes for me to start dating again. So I hope this was helpful. And if it was, leave a comment below saying therapist. And are you going to look into going to therapy and how it may benefit you? Try it for a month and see what you think. If you don't like that person, go find somebody else. But try it for a month and then come back and tell me in the comments below